The creek had been there longer than the Kandi records, cutting a narrow, winding path through the property, swelling during heavy rain, shrinking to a trickle in summer. Old survey maps marked it clearly. Environmental reports mentioned it twice. The deed referenced a natural drainage easement that couldn't be altered without state approval. That creek was the reason the land was affordable. It was also the reason I bought it. I planned to keep it natural, maybe add a footbridge, plant native trees, let the water do what it had always done. I didn't want a mansion. I wanted quiet. Then the Ho arrived. They called themselves Willow Crest Estates, a luxury development promising key nature-inspired living. Irony didn't seem to bother them. Their glossy flyers showed manicured lawns, stone pathways, and million-dollar homes packed shoulder to shoulder, right afill from my property. At first, they were polite. A woman from the Ho board knocked on my door one afternoon, heels sinking into the soft soil near the creek. She smiled too much. "We're expanding," she said. "And that little water channel of yours is inconvenient." I told her it wasn't a channel. It was a registered creek. She logged. "Or engineers say it's seasonal runoff." "Well, take care of it, ooh." I told her no. That was when the letters started. Certified mail. Legal language. Claims that the creek caused erosion on their land, even though they hadn't built anything yet. They asked for access. I refused. They asked again. I refused again. Then one morning, I woke up to the sound of machines. Concrete trucks. Excavators. I ran outside and saw them, workers in reflective vests standing right on my property line, earth torn open, the creek already diverted into a temporary trench. I shouted. I called the Kandi. I called environmental services. The foreman shrugged. "Ho says it's approved." It wasn't. By the time inspectors arrived days later, it was already done. The creek was gone, entombed under layers of gravel and concrete, rerouted into narrow pipes that disappeared under the new development. The Ho was fined. A small fine. They paid it and kept building. Luxury homes rose quickly, stone facades, deep basements, pristine lawns. They sold out fast. People loved the idea of living near key former wetlands without the inconvenience of actual water. I warned them. I sent emails. I sent copies of the original surveys. I sent hydrology reports showing exactly where the water would go once the ground saturated. No one replied. One board member actually told me, "Water follows the rules we give it now." That fall, the rains came early. At first, nothing seemed wrong. The Ho newsletter bragged about record home values. They posted drone shots of the neighborhood glowing at sunset. Then the ground near my property line stopped absorbing water. The soil darkened. The grass thinned. Puddles lingered for days instead of hours. By November, the lowest houses started complaining about damp basements. By December, some pumps ran non-stop. By January, the swamp came back. Only this time, it wasn't my land underwater. It was theirs. The first official complaint came after a winter storm dumped rain for 3 straight days. Water pooled where the creek used to flow, pressing against the concrete like a held breath. The buried pipes couldn't handle it. They clogged with debris, then backed up. The ground softened. Driveways cracked. One homeowner woke up to find water seeping through the baseboards of their finished basement, the one with imported tile and a home theater. Within weeks, half the neighborhood had the same problem. The Ho called emergency meetings. They hired consultants. They blamed poor grading, faulty contractors, even key unexpected weather patterns. No one mentioned the creek. Until the state inspectors showed up. Someone, still don't know who, filed a formal environmental complaint with satellite imagery attached. The images were clear. A natural waterway had been filled without proper mitigation, forcing groundwater to resurface exactly where the house stood. The inspectors walked the property in rubber boats. They didn't need me to say anything. They could see it. Water bubbled up through lawns like the land itself was breathing. Retaining walls leaned. Fence posts tilted. One luxury home had sunk nearly 3 inches on one corner. The report was brutal. The Ho was ordered to restore natural drainage. That meant digging. A lot of digging. They tore up roads, lawns, and paths. Concrete cracked open like a scar reopening. And when they reached a buried creek, water rushed back into its old path, wide, fast, and unstoppable. The swamp returned exactly where the map said it would. But now it wrapped around million-dollar homes. Property values collapsed. Lawsuits followed, homeowners against the How against contractors, contractors against engineers. Insurance companies refused coverage for known environmental violations. The whole board resigned one by one. The final blow came when the county enforced a setback rule. Homes built too close to restored waterways were no longer compliant. 3 houses were declared uninhabitable. 2 more needed foundation stabilization, costing more than they were worth. Meanwhile, my land? Dry. Stable. The creek flowed openly again, wider now, bordered by reeds and trees that returned on their own. Wildlife came back, frogs, birds, even a small deer trail near the water. One former How board member tried to talk to me months later. "We didn't think it would be this bad," he said, staring at the flooded lots. I showed him the old survey map. "You were warned," I said. "Nature doesn't negate." In the end, the hood is solved. Willow Crest Estates was quietly rebranded by realtors. Tough buyers weren't fooled. Everyone knew the story, the luxury neighborhood built on a buried creek. A swamp-wearing stone house. As for me, I built a small wooden bridge over the water and planted willows along the bank. The creek had been patient. And when it returned, it reclaimed exactly